Good evening and welcome to Our World, Our Power. Pauline Swift here with my co-host, Mr. Glenn Greenwich. As of today, Stephen James is out. He's working on a big case, and we have, hopefully he'll be back next week. But today we have two special ladies representing this month, which is Women's Month. And let me see. Start.
Hi, I'm Sheila Saint-Festin, also the owner of Line Guard Tax Service located in Long Island City, New York. I specialize in small businesses for tax and bookkeeping and accounting.
And Wanda?
I'm Wanda Mimms. I'm Let's Do This. It's a nonprofit organization. We do bucket list events. I host, and these events empower and inspire and motivate women of color.
I'm very honored to have you both on the show today. You know, a lot of people these days are starting their own business. Women, I've been in business for like 20-something years in different businesses. And I wanted to find out from both of you ladies, what are some of the pitfalls, what are some of the advantages? Let's start off with the tax person, the tax lady.
That's right. It's tax season, so it's important for us to look at that.
This is very important. Donald Trump passed in Congress, the Jobs Cuts and Tax Act was passed by Congress by Donald Trump, in which it was an overhaul of the tax system. So now there's new tax laws and it will affect individuals and business owners. So there are some benefits, there's some disadvantages. Like I've seen many people, they had a lesser refund this year because many of the employee expenses was diminished from the return until 2025. So that affected a lot of people, and also homeowners that pay property taxes. They also had a cap of $10,000, and this is one of the many things and issues that face taxpayers this season.
Wanda, what are you going through at this time? How is it being a business owner, being a woman in business?
Right now, it's challenging. The challenge that I find is getting resources. People that I may want to partner with that I cannot find or don't know. So a lot of networking is needed for this type of business to actually get members involved and inspired to go out and do things that they might not normally think about doing. So just the inspiration.
So would you say that your business is really about having people partner up with different ideas and different events?
Events as well, yes. It's different events. I don't want to do the traditional event. I want to do things that you may not normally do. Find black women at rodeos, or find black women at a race car event, or maybe a cooking class, or things of that nature that we are not really represented. So that's what my challenge is trying to get members interested in doing something outside of the box.
Now, are you it sounds like the business is much, very localized. So is that a localized business, or do you do things out of state?
Not yet. What I'm doing, I'm doing this out of my own home, which is in Nassau County, but I also are targeting the 5 boroughs as well. So whatever I do, I target the 5 boroughs for us to do different things. I'm trying to do a wine tasting, and at the end of the month, I wanted to do a self-defense class within Queens location.
Oh, excellent, excellent. So you're looking to grow your business by having these woman-oriented events, and let people know how they can get a hold of you.
They can get a hold of me. The telephone number that they can get a hold of me is 516-900-4602, and it's the number they can reach me. And also the email is Let's Do This, LETSDOTIZ not a S, number 1 at gmail.com.
Now, the tax services, it sounds like you do some additional things, not just taxes. So tell the folks a little bit about what else your business does outside of taxes.
Outside of taxes, I also prepare financial statements, meaning profit and loss, balance sheets. This is very important, especially if you need investors in your company, and also if you need to go to the bank and receive a loan, you have to have proper financial statements. Also, if you want grants, you also have to have these things, and this is very important. I'm also a pro advisor on QuickBooks Online, so I also oversee plenty of small businesses' financial records as well.
Sheila, tell me, because I know a lot of people make a lot of mistakes when they first start their own business. What is the first thing that you would tell somebody who's going to start their own business? How can they put everything together properly?
Okay, many people have started LLCs, which are limited liability companies, and also they're not really knowledgeable on the tax consequences as well, because during tax season, usually many people get hit with the self-employment tax. So I see this happen a lot, and they do not withhold the proper estimated taxes, and so it's the end of the year and they owe so much money and not aware of why. So to have a proper education of knowing, what can you do to prevent this, or do you need to set up as a different entity to prevent having all this taxes owed, is very important when you start as a business.
So you're really saying that somebody should consult someone like yourself so that they understand the tax ramifications of the kinds of business organizations that they put together, be it an LLC, be a partnership, be a incorporation, or an S Corp as well. There are different tax advantages and different benefits from those organizations.
Glenn, also, I know you work with the community, the Sutton bid, and I know women do come to you for advice. And what are some of the things that you have seen over the years that has made businesses succeed and made them fail?
Well, the main thing, especially for businesses in our community, is access to capital. You may have enough money to get the business started, to get the business going, but when you're looking to expand your marketing, to expand your clientele, you may need access to capital. And again, come back to our tax person, if you don't have your financial records in place, lending from the banks is very hard, to say the least. I always recommend using a CDFI, Community Financial Institution, which is they have lower rates for loans than a traditional bank. So a community development financial institution get money from the federal government to specifically to invest in community type projects.
Well, something I also found out, having been in business for a long time, that to get a loan and you're a new business, they usually do not give you the loan. You have to take out your own personal loan on you, and that sometimes is a big problem later on down the line. If the business does not work, you're stuck with now the overhead being it was taken out in your own personal name as opposed to the corporation.
Well, we were talking about this last week, and that was why it was so important to have your own money and actually be able to sustain your business for at least 2 years. So you really need to have cash flow for 2 years to sustain your business, because it's going to take at least 6 months to a year for you to actually start to generate income to compensate for the expenses that you have. So it's important to understand that, to understand again, you have your finances together, but also to have that funding money for that first 2 years.
Okay, Wanda, I know you've been in business. How long have you been in business altogether?
I first started in 2013.
And what happened and what went wrong?
Nothing actually went wrong. I decided to take idle time because my mom was sick, and because of the course of the time, I relaunched my business just recently.
Okay. What were some of the pitfalls that you found?
The biggest pitfall was to find new members, like I said, that wanted to do something outside the box. My biggest focus is trying to network, maybe with another entity, a group, women's group, a women's organization, maybe to build the brand. That's another thing. But just trying to get women motivated to do something else different.
Sheila, I know you've been in business since 2017.
Yes.
So you also are a new owner.
Yes.
You're a woman, and your family has been in business.
Yes.
Tell me some of the pitfalls that you have gone through and some of your achievements.
Well, I'm starting out and expecting to have, you could have your projections and, I'm going to make this amount of money in this certain time, but sometimes in business it takes time to build the connections and let everyone know who you are and what you could bring to the table and how you could help them. And this is what I'm learning right now as a business owner, starting up myself.
Okay. Are you scared?
Yes, very.
Well, you know what? I'm going to ask this question for both of you. What gave you the idea to start your own business? I will start with you, Wanda.
Actually, it was kind of a funny story. My girlfriend and I wanted to do something other than club. So she said, well, why don't you have an idea? Let's do something else. So I thought about rodeo riding. So she said, well, we did it. And she said, you're so good at trying to find other things, to do. Why don't you start a business? And I said, okay. It wasn't like work for me. It was, something that I like to do. And so I wanted to expand it to a business. And that's why I'm trying to do this service for other women to just take time out for themselves and do something other than the norm.
Great. Thank you. What about you?
Well, I started because I used to work at an accounting firm, and I felt like I wasn't really making a difference, but now I feel like I'm giving back to my community in Queens as well. And each business owner I help and, give them guidance of how like to navigate with their financial statements and tax, problems. They're very happy. So I get that joy of helping people individually, being hands-on, and that's what really drives me to be a business owner.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome, thank you.
Glenn, tell me, which really didn't answer my question. When women come to you, because I know women come to your office on a regular basis, what are some of the pitfalls that they have? That you're able to help them with?
Well, I'm like a resource guy.
Okay.
So I work with Business Solutions, which is located at 9027 Sutphin Boulevard on the 4th floor. They have all the licensing, certificates, they do training. So I refer people to that location. I also refer people to York College Small Business Development Center, which also is another resource. And oh, by the way, for our listeners out there, these are free resources that are available. What they can do is they can support you in your business plan. They can also have access to some of the CDFIs that I was talking about in terms of loans. They also are there to do training for business owners. So there's also the Queens Economic Development, which is another resource. They're
very good. They're very helpful.
They're very helpful. So what I do is I connect people to the resources that they're looking for, and I've been able to work with different community partners to be able to deliver certain kinds of things.
Okay, now I know we're here in Southeast Queens, South Jamaica, Queens.
Yeah.
What are some of the problems that you see that might arise in the near future with all the mom and pop stores that are going away and everything is high finance, big companies, corporations that's coming in, and these are big, big corporations. Where do you think women fit in at now?
Well, women fit in everything to start off, but I think one of the things that we as a community have to look towards is when you've got all the development that's going in downtown Jamaica right now, how do the businesses, small businesses, are able to expand? Again, we talked about access to capital.
Because I see that the small businesses is leaving, and I see all the brand name stores coming in. So again, what happened to mom and pop?
Two things. You've got to stay relevant in terms of who your target market is. And social media is huge in this day and age. And what I found is a lot of mom and pop stores don't adhere to it. They are not on social media. They don't have a website. They don't have an online presence. And in this day and age, everybody's on their phone looking up stuff. And so if you don't have a particular presence, you will, I'm not saying you're doomed to fail, but the chances of you succeeding or expanding are so reduced that most banks are not going to bet on you if you don't have that kind of gravitas. As in any business, your lifeline is expanding, and you've got to be able to expand your customer base. And you start off at wherever you start off with, but you want to deepen that group of people, and then you also want to look to expand, because we're living in a dynamic society right now, and things are changing so quickly that if you don't stay relevant to how to get access to your customers, you will lose out. And I think there's an expression that small businesses have, is that you are in your business and not work in your business. And it's very important, because as a entrepreneur, you have to be able to stay relevant and be able to expand. And that's one of the hardest things, is looking at a strategy to keep your business in play. Where do you want your business to be in 5 years? Where do you see it in 10 years? So you have to begin to look, do I need a storefront? Or do I need, can I operate effectively from my home and continue to expand my business to keep my costs down? Because going into a brick and mortar is very, very expensive. And you've got all of the overhead associated with that. Is that a commitment that you want to do? Now, I would tell any business, there's a program called SBA, Small Business Administration, that will have you buy the property that you would want to move in for, and then finance it up to 90% of the price of the building. Now, you own that building. Of course, if you don't do well, it goes back to them, but at least now, as a business owner, it's so critical to own your own business, because as someone who's leasing, you then now are subject to the landlord. The landlord wants to go up 25% from the last lease period. You don't have any say in it. If you own your own building, you can then control and minimize some of your overhead costs. So these are some of the things that you want to engage people in, and let's face it, women are the fastest, biggest target market for services, and they will continue to be, and they're the biggest population as well.
Now, Sheila, when your customers come to you, your clients, I should say, come to you, do you also give advice to them, or about the taxes and how they can, either be in a better position economically with the tax brackets? Do you do that?
Yes, for businesses or individuals? Or
Well, for both individuals and businesses.
For individuals and businesses. First, for businesses, I look at what industry they might want to go into. What is the proper setup? What are the tax laws? What are the barriers they might face with the taxes and accounting? And I also give a guidance of a projection of this is how much you will spend, basically a budget of this is how much you should be spending each month, because that's really important, because you can't, when you start a business, you just can't, just spend, spend. You have to have a budget. You have to know the amount of revenue that might come in for your business. And these are the things that sit down. Where do you see yourself in 4 years, 3 years? What's your target market? How are you going to grow? And also, the entity, what type of entities you need to set up, an LLC, corporation, what is more beneficial for you at this time? So.
Wanda, did you find that factor for yourself as well?
Well, I knew that I always wanted a 501c3 because I wanted to be mission driven. I didn't want it to be profit driven.
One of the things that we talked about just before we started the interview is should you have a not-for-profit and a for-profit? And one of the things that we talked about is it's very beneficial to have a not-for-profit associated with your for-profit. The not-for-profit can actually go out and you can get grants for that not-for-profit that supports that particular business. The for-profit side of the house can then manage the entity, the space maybe, or what have you. So again, I would always advise and suggest that people have both in as part of their organization, a for-profit and a not-for-profit, so that they can blend the two together, because there are advantages of having the not-for-profit that are not inside of a for-profit and vice versa.
Is it easy these days to get the non-for-profit status? Because I know years ago, especially after 9/11, they had slowed up and people was not able to get the non-for-profit status. What have you
now
found
the
out?
IRS have two options. If you make under 50K, you could do the fast track 1023 EZ. It's not that you don't need financial statements. You just need to answer a few questions, and this is like a short form for smaller not-for-profits, and it's a faster way to get the election. But if you make over 50K, then you have to go through the whole way of having your financial statements, your projections, and filling out a 1023, which takes more time and also legal stuff your bylaws and everything you have to provide for this form. So there's two ways. They made it easier for people that make smaller amount of money in donations for their 501c3, and there's two. That's what's going on right now.
Something, Glenn, I'm really, I'm not, not so much not tech savvy, but I'm on YouTube a lot now,
Okay.
And I've been watching a lot of shows with my granddaughter.
Sure.
And I see this new wave of business owners, okay, and they're making a lot of money, and it's through YouTube. And what is your opinion? What's your take on that? Because it's not the old traditional way of and they do silly things that you wouldn't necessarily think would bring in money, but it's bringing in income for these people, young people, children, adults, women.
Well, the thing that I would say is that they've got the followers. See, old school or new school, if you've got people following you, advertisers will pay to get access to those followers. So YouTube has created a whole new phenomenon from a marketing standpoint. And of course, if you've got 2 million viewers, I, as whatever product I'm selling, maybe I'm selling some water or whatever, I want to get access to those followers. So I'm willing to pay to get access to that. And so let's say, for example, you've got a woman's show. So if I have makeup or something that is specific for a woman market, I'm gonna make sure that I advertise, and with that kind of cachet of followers, you basically can demand whatever you want, and that's what's happening with these YouTube stars. You know, again, this is an area that is relatively new, that's been developed
in the last 10 years, practically.
Right,
Yeah.
and so I think the key for us as business people is, well, how do we exploit the YouTube phenomenon and be able to bring that to our businesses? So we're here live doing a video conversation, but again, how do we get those up on YouTube and get the viewership so that people understand, number one, what our business is, how we can expand our marketing, and then the third part is, of course, take advantage of that access and get advertisers.
All right, well, speaking of advertisers, I would like to take the time to say thank you to our sponsors, the Nourish Spot here in Queens, and Henry's Carrot Cake. That's in the market here on 160, what is it, 160? 160th. 160th Street. So he makes the best carrot cakes. He has like 25 different flavors of carrot cakes. Matter of fact, next week, Nigel, I'm going to bring you some. I'm going to bring you some carrot cake. We're going to have
it's very good.
Very good. I mean, excellent, excellent. And the Nourish Spot, for those of you who are into your health and being conscious of what's going in your stomach, please check out the Nourish Spot in Queens here. Thank you, guys. And also,
Sutton Boulevard bid. Sutton Boulevard Business Improvement District. Now, want to let you know that we're here on Caribbean Buzz TV and radio, and the access number is 607-301-0962. So we're here every week promoting conversations, and this month we are bringing women businesses, because this is Women's History Month, so we want to make sure that we highlight local businesses that are featuring women in our community, because we think it's very, very important for all of us.
That's great, Glenn. I agree with you. But I have to tell you, I have to take a break right now.
Okay.
We'll be back in a few minutes. This is Lady Pauline again for Our World, Hour of Power, where your news reflects you and your community. I try to give out information that the community wants to hear, what people don't ordinarily get on regular radio shows or TV shows. So I try to keep it real. We don't have a script. We just are talking, all right? So this, as I said, where your news reflects you and your community. Glenn, let's start it back up now.
Well, I just wanted to say that it's so great to have entrepreneurs in our part of our show, and why I say that is that I believe that actually, no, it's not my belief, but more jobs are created by mom and pop businesses in this country than any other. Everybody thinks the big corporations are creating the jobs. No, it's individuals like these ladies at the table who are creating, forging forward and providing a service for the community. Not only that, you're also an opportunity for training and development of people from our own community as well. And so there are 3 or 4 deep levels of opportunity that you guys are creating. You're creating for young people, you give them jobs, you give them training, you provide that for them, and then they can then go out and be productive contributors to the community as well. So it's not just you, it's clearly that you're bringing the community along. And so I just want to thank you and honor you and say how much I appreciate, because it's hard work running your own business. And I don't think a lot of people appreciate that, but the rewards are much bigger even than the hard work, when it comes together. So, I just want to thank you for that.
Now, Sheila, you was telling me earlier that your family is also in business. Can I assume that's who inspired you?
Yes. Actually, my dad, he had a real estate company for 30 years. So at a very young age, I understood financial responsibility because he'll get me, my sister and my brother, my sisters and my brother involved in the business at a very young age. And that's how I got to grow and see him, you know, grow and prosper and take care of his family and give jobs to the community, you know, as a businessman. So
you wasn't that scared then.
and also my mom too, she's
Yeah.
also, you know, his partner, and, you know, seeing them both in the dynamics of a business, you know, in my community, you know, it's just very inspiring for me to start, you know, young, very young,
That's great.
my business.
So I would say that you have the support of your family backing.
Yes.
That's very important. Very,
Mhm.
and I do wish you the best of luck. I mean,
you.
I know you're going to do awesome. And Wanda,
Yes.
I know you are a woman of strong convictions, very
Thank you.
strong convictions.
Thank you.
And this business is by you.
Yes.
You are the owner,
Yes,
and you came up with the idea.
yes.
In 5 years from now, where would you like to see your business?
I would like to see my business spread it out to different cities. I would like to see my business doing transportation to take members out to different events. I would like to see my business expanding to really know that not only they're having fun, but they're being educated as well. The members are being educated. So I could see my business growing. And this is a start for me being here at the Caribbean Biz.
Yes,
This
sure
is a
is.
big start.
Yes, it is. Now, where would you like to see your business now in 5 years?
You know, hopefully to grow and also to provide jobs and training, bring it back to, I know there's accounting majors in my community, you know, looking for experience and jobs to bring that back to the community. Hopefully in 5 years, you know, I'm able to do that.
Now, earlier, Glenn, you had mentioned that it is kind of difficult to open up shop as far as like getting office space.
Yes.
Have you found that a problem?
This is why I'm located in Long Island City. I have an office space, but it's kind of like a WeWorks. So I'm working from there. I can't have a brick and mortar because that's very expensive to start up. So, you know, I'm starting from there and then bringing it back to my community once I bring, you know, grow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how can people reach you on a regular basis?
I'm on different social platforms. I'm on Instagram, as well as our tax service, Facebook, Indeed. Also, I'm on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel that also discuss many tax topics that entrepreneurs might face. So I'm also on YouTube, and I also have a website as well.
Okay. Now, I know you had said that you got inspired from your family.
Yes.
Let's play devil's advocate and say that they were not in business. And do you think your path would be the same?
Maybe it would have took me longer to get where I'm at right now. That's what I feel like. But eventually, you know, down the road, I felt like I would have had, like, you know, shifted toward entrepreneurship. But I feel like it would have been later, not this early.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you're young. Which is great.
Well, you know, one of the interesting things about that is that if your family has been a business owner, it's a lot easier because you are listening to the conversations around the business, the challenges that the business is having, you know, growing the business and looking at different aspects of it. So that's part of the discussion at the dinner table.
Yes.
And that really makes a difference in your education as you look at and think about going into business for yourself. So it is a tremendous plus, but it's not. You know, you can do it without that. It's just there are more hurdles and much more networking and mentorship. I want to mention there's a program, 10,000 Small Businesses. Who's that done by? One of the stock agency types. But what that is what they do is they put together companies and help them to grow, set them up with mentors, talk about the different aspects of the finances, the marketing, the relationships with other people in that particular industry. And they are out to design or to create 10,000 small businesses that they've affected in this program. And I can't think of the name of the company. It's a financial services company that's actually backing it, that's taking on the initiative. But it's called 10,000 Small Businesses. That's one program. And then I also want to talk a little bit about Starbucks. Starbucks has community rooms specifically for not-for-profits.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yes.
I forgot to mention.
Yes.
Yes, that's true.
So we have a community Starbucks store on Sutphin Boulevard, the corner of 89th and Sutphin Boulevard, which is part of the bid, and it was actually the first store in the country. The CEO of Starbucks, after Ferguson, said that he wanted to make a difference in building up communities of color and providing them a space for not-for-profits, because of course most of the time not-for-profits have to expend money to get meeting spaces. Right. And so this is a plus that they put in place to be able to support not-for-profits in the area.
Oh, that's wonderful information, because I know a lot of people don't know about that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Very good.
So what else is going on Sutphin Boulevard? What else can we talk about that audiences doesn't know about? You know, the little secrets.
The little secrets of Sutphin Boulevard.
Yes.
Well, I think we talked about it. We talked about it earlier, and that is that with gentrification, prices go up, and so we're looking to see how we can best not have the rents going up to do that. And so so I think there are a couple spaces that are going up that are going to be commercial spaces. That's at the corner of Archer and Sutphin Boulevard. BRP Companies is producing 50,000 square feet of commercial and community space. So that's an area that as businesses, it's right across the street from the Long Island Railroad. So it's quite convenient. So that's something that we as small businesses in the community need to know about and need to start putting our coins together to figure out how we can get that kind of access.
Now tell me, these jobs that are going to be opening up is the equal opportunity of
JFK jobs.
Yeah.
So JFK, well, good. Two things about that. As businesses, everybody at this table should be certified as an MWBE, okay, Minority Women Business Enterprise. Couple reasons.
Now, how do you go about that?
You can go to the Business Solutions Center that I talked about earlier, 90-27 Sutphin Boulevard, or you also can go to York College Small Business Development Center, and they will help you get certified for free. Here's the deal though. You want to get certified on a city level, you want to get certified on a state level, and then you also want to get certified for Port Authority. So Port Authority has concession stands for people who've got restaurants or services that they want to provide to people walking through the airport. They also need professional services anytime they've got a project. They've got a $13 billion project, redevelopment of the JFK airport. And so that's going to be huge too. And the state has got a 30% requirement for their jobs to be MWBE. So we've got an opportunity for construction jobs as well as long-term jobs, professional services, and concession stands, all taking place. Now, the Jfk Redevelopment Center just opened up its community space on 145th and Jamaica Avenue. The address is 144-33 Jamaica Avenue, and that center is specifically to get certified for the Port Authority. They're going to have trainings.
Oh, that's awesome.
You know, local businesses, so there are going to be opportunities for local businesses to interact. Of course, some of the businesses that helped build out that space, there was a carpeting company, a cleaning company. I don't know if they had an exterminator service, but all of those kinds of things are, yeah, again, you want to, the city has a commitment to spend, I think it's $10 billion in the next 10 years for MWBEs. And the thing about it is they need toilet paper, they need cleaning supplies, they need paper goods, they need machines, they need all of that. So any of those areas MWBE can qualify for. So it really is important that we get certified so that we can get in the loop for these state and
So when
jobs.
you say certified, what do you have to bring to the table to become certified?
You got to be in business for a year,
Okay.
and then basically just let them know what you've done and how you'd like to participate with their programs.
Oh, okay, that's the type of information I'm looking for. Yeah, for people to hear.
big.
Yeah.
Yes, that's very, very important. Because usually we hear about these things afterwards,
That's correct.
as opposed to before. Right now, you're listening to Lady Pauline and Mr. Glenn Greenwich of the Sutton Boulevard Bed, and our guest co-host Sheila and Wanda.
Thank you.
I appreciate you being on the show. And I want to also say thank you to our sponsors, which is Henry's Carrot Cake and my favorite place, the Nourish Spot. Yes, I have to go there this week to get some healthy and good food because my back has been killing me.
Foods are pretty good.
So I think I need something different, and at the Nourish Spot you can get some wonderful, wonderful food.
Food and drinks and what have you.
I promise you guys, I'm going to be bringing in that carrot cake.
Henry's
Henry's carrot
week,
cake
right.
next week. Okay, guys. Anything else that you would like to contribute to?
No, I just want to say thank you for listening. Thank you for coming out. We're available on Spotify and tune in as well. And again, this is Caribbean Buzz Radio and TV, and we want to welcome you to this network.
And I also would like to let everybody know that you can also watch me on YouTube, Our World Media Magazine, or Our World on Southern News. And thank you very much. And please tell us how people can reach both of you.
Okay, I have an email, Sheila@LineGuardTaxService.com. Also, I have a cell, 917-725-5447.
Wanda?
And Sunday, the 31st. Oh, sorry.
34-18 Northern Boulevard, Suite 305, Long Island City, New York, 11101.
And Sunday the 31st, I'm hosting a woman's self-defense class at 7062 Casino Boulevard from 3 to 5. So come out and learn how to defend yourself. And I'm on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Let's Do This. And you can reach me at letsdothisnumber1@gmail.com. And the telephone number to reach me if you want to be a new member, you're very welcomed at 516-900-4602.
And you can reach me, Glenn Greenwich, at www.sutphin, SUTPHINBLVDBID.org. That's my website, and you can give me a call, 718-291-2110, and we'll help you, support you in taking your business to the next level.
All right. Thank you guys for listening in, and I will see you next week, Saturday, from 5 to 6.
Peace and blessings.
Take
Bye-bye.
care. Bye-bye.